Your team lost 2-1. The second goal came from a penalty. You watched the replay 6 times. The striker went down, there was maybe contact, probably no contact, but the referee pointed to the spot and that was it. You spent the next hour arguing about it in a group chat. You went to bed still thinking about it. You woke up and checked if anyone had posted a better angle, and somewhere in there, between the replay and the morning after, you became completely certain. It was the referee. The result was stolen, not lost. Stolen. Those are two different things, and your brain made that call before you consciously decided anything. Here's what's strange about that. You've watched a lot of football. You know teams lose matches. You've accepted losses before, properly accepted them, said, "We were bad today," and moved on. You've had seasons where the team was genuinely terrible and you knew it and you said so. But this one didn't land that way. A loss you accept feels different. You drive home quiet. You think about the second half, so maybe the lineup, maybe whether the manager got it wrong. You're still unhappy, but it sits differently. Like something that happened, not something that was done to you. This one, you're still arguing at 1 a.m. This one has a villain. The thing is, you're not completely making it up. Referee bias in football is real and documented. There are published studies showing that referees award more penalties to home teams, extend stoppage time when the home side is trailing, give fewer yellow cards against the noise of a partisan crowd. That's actual research, not invented grievance. So, yes, referees make mistakes. Some of those mistakes follow patterns. But that's not the question. The question is why certain fans reach for that explanation every single time. The matches where the call was wrong, yes, but also the matches where it clearly wasn't. The matches where the goalkeeper dropped the ball with no one near him. The matches where the team had 2 shots on target and gave up 4 goals from open play. The matches where, if you watch the replay honestly, the referee had 4 minutes of actual influence and your own striker missed an open goal in the second minute. The referee, still, every time. Without fail, there's something specific happening there, and it doesn't have much to do with refereeing. In 1991, 3 sports psychologists, Grove, Hanrahan, and Mackinman, studied how fans explain their team's results. After wins, fans use internal explanations. The team played well, worked hard, had a game plan, and executed it. After losses, those same fans switched entirely to external ones. Bad luck, poor officiating, conditions that weren't in the team's favor. Same fans, same team. The scoreboard flipped and the explanation flipped with it automatically. What makes this worth sitting with is the word same. Not 2 different types of fans with different worldviews. The same person watching the same club, explaining results in completely opposite ways depending on which direction the score went. Nobody asked them to change their reasoning. No one nudged them toward the external explanation. It happened below the level of conscious decision, faster than thinking. That's the part that matters here. The mechanism is called self-serving attribution bias. The name matters less than what it's doing underneath. When you blame the referee, you're protecting something. Not the team exactly, you. So if you've been supporting a club for 10 or 15 years, the club isn't something separate from your identity. It's part of how you think about yourself, where you're from, who you watch matches with, what you were doing the night they got relegated, the night they won. When they win, you say, "We won," without any hesitation. Robert Cialdini, a social psychologist at Arizona State, tracked exactly that in a study from the 1970s. After wins, college students talking about their football team use the word "we." After losses, the same students switched to "they." Same people, same team, same season, running in parallel. The pronoun shifted automatically and completely based on the result. Nobody noticed they were doing it. What Cialdini found was that fans absorb victories as personal and push defeats away. Onto the team as a separate thing, onto external forces, onto whoever is close enough to take the weight. The attachment is deep enough that the brain protects the club the same way it protects you. Blame the referee, and the team wasn't beaten. The team was cheated. Those 2 things feel completely different at midnight. With your phone in your hand, there's a detail from that research that tends to get skipped over. Highly identified fans, people with deep, long-term attachment to a club, are significantly less likely to pull away after a bad result. A fair-weather fan, after a 4-0 loss on a Tuesday night, will say, "I don't know why I watch this," and quietly reduce how much they care for a while. They create some distance. It works. A diehard doesn't do that. Juan and Branscombe documented this in 1990. The stronger the identification with the club, the more the fan stays attached through losing runs, through bad signings, through managers who clearly don't know what they're doing and are somehow still employed. But staying attached through failure requires an explanation for the failure that doesn't damage the identity. "We lost because we weren't good enough" is hard to carry when the club is genuinely part of who you are. "We lost because the referee was against us" is much easier. The team is still good. The identity is still intact. Something external went wrong, and next week it won't. The fans who blame referees most reliably are usually the most devoted ones. That's not irony. That's the mechanism working exactly as designed. And this is the part that makes it hard to just call it denial and move on. The bias is functional. It works. It keeps you watching after a 4-1 loss. It keeps you making the trip, arguing in comment sections at midnight, still checking the table on a Wednesday morning in February when your team has nothing to play for. If every defeat landed as a clean, unprotected failure, no soft landing, nothing to redirect toward. The emotional cost of following one club for decades would be genuinely difficult. Sports psychologists who study fan well-being have noted that teams with poor records but high supporter identification tend to show unusually strong collective coping behaviors, rituals, blame narratives, us against the world framing. The bias isn't a bug. For those clubs and those fans, it's infrastructure. The brain offering you a way out is part of how you survive a 30-year relationship with a football team. So this is not irrational. It's not weakness. It's a coping mechanism. And for most fans, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to. The problem is when it stops being a reaction and becomes a posture. Some fans have been running this long enough that they're not responding to a specific result anymore. They're carrying a position into every match. They walk in already expecting the referee to do something. They're scanning for it before the first whistle. And in 90 minutes of football, a sport built on hundreds of marginal, contested calls, they will find something. They always do. The group chat has a dedicated thread. Everyone in it already agrees. The evidence is collected in real time and shared, screenshot by screenshot across the 90 minutes and the hour after. Each screenshot confirms what everyone already believed before the game started. The group doesn't interrogate the evidence, it accumulates it. And each new member who joins and agrees makes the collective certainty feel more like fact. This is where it gets interesting. The social reinforcement starts to do the same work the bias was doing individually. It protects the shared identity by building a shared explanation. Your club supporters aren't wrong. The referee isn't just occasionally bad. There's something bigger, and the group chat is where you document it. At that point, blaming the referee isn't an explanation for a result. It's a community activity. Every match becomes something that happens to the team rather than something they play in. Wins become proof of resilience against the usual forces. Losses become the latest entry in a longer story. A club that keeps getting wronged, that keeps being underestimated, that keeps fighting despite it. Both outcomes confirm exactly the same thing. When wins and losses are confirming the same narrative, you're not really watching the game anymore. You're maintaining something else entirely. The next time your team loses, and they will, and the replay is running and the explanation is already forming before you finished watching it, try asking one question. What would the game have looked like for you to say, "We just lost today, not robbed, not if the penalty hadn't been given, not despite the referee. Just, we lost. We were the worst team. It happens." If there's no version of the game that ends with that sentence, if no result, no scoreline, no performance would get you there, then the referee was never really what this was about. Drop the match in the comments, the one you're still angry about. I want to know how old some of these are.